Hello, everyone, and welcome to Leadership and Neurodiversity, the YouTube channel dedicated to leadership development, and career advancement for neurodivergent people. This is our first video of January 2024, so Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the new year. We have an extensive agenda today. First, I'm going to do a brief introduction where I talk about things related to the channel. Second, I'll be talking about the five best companies, in my opinion, for the United States for neurodivergent people, which will be followed by large companies I want to see more from in 2024. And then there's a couple other points I want to make during the video that'll come up as we go along. Next, we'll talk about how to improve the neurodivergent talent pool. I think there's a way that we can make this happen. And then the big discussion will be on 4 key points to hiring and retaining neurodivergent people. This is going to be a discussion on how to hire. I think the method will improve how neurodivergent people are hired and retained. And the beauty of it is it can be applied to any population, can be applied to any new employee. Then we're going to have a conclusion at the end to discuss what the next video will be about. So here's the introduction. Leadership in Neurodiversity is my own project, which will culminate in my dissertation defense at the Indiana Institute of Technology. It was expected to be late 2026 or early 2027. The opinions in these videos are my own and open to debate. I welcome commentary. I am open to discussion. I'm happy to discuss everything. I'm planning on creating bi-weekly videos in the first quarter of 2024 and monthly thereafter unless circumstances change. Now, based on what I'm seeing, that bi-weekly plan may go well past the first quarter of 2024. And there will be no attempts at monetization or SEO as I create these videos solely to improve my presentation skills. Any attempt to contact me regarding monetization, SEO, or any attempt to sell a product or service will be deleted without consideration. Please do not contact me about this. I consider it annoying. It is not worth your time. Don't do it. Okay, so the 5 best large companies for neurodivergent people in the United States in 2024. These are companies that I know have neurodiversity hiring programs. These are companies that are well talked about. And these are in no particular order. First is SAP. Now, this is the first company to commit to hiring autistic people in 2013, still committed to having 1% of their workforce as autistic people today. Second is Bank of New York Mellon, which worked with specialists to create an entry-level job with a salary close to mine, and I mean seriously close. If I had gone back a few years, I would have applied for this job. But my priorities have changed, so I'm not looking for that anymore. Third, Ernst & Young. Now it has a strong commitment to their neurodiversity hiring program, and I know that they come up every so often in discussions. The fourth is Deloitte, which is like Ernst & Young, known for their commitment to their neurodiversity hiring program, and one of the companies that often comes up a lot in conversation. This is a good company. I actually knew a couple of people who were neurotypical who, in my Master's in Data Analytics program, that worked for Deloitte. I know it's a great company to work for. I hear a lot of great things about them. Matter of fact, at my firm's holiday party, one of the people I talked to used to work for Deloitte, knew about the program, and she agreed with me. It's one of the best. Finally, the fifth one, Wells Fargo, and this is one that jumped at me last month. It was a really big surprise, and they're not only committed to the neurodiversity hiring program, but one of their goals is for it to become unnecessary because you can get hired through normal means. It has a 99% retention rate and a wide variety of jobs available. It's a brilliant company. I do think this is one that that sets a tone that I would love to see others have. Now, while these are the 5 best large companies, I think, right now for neurodivergent people in the United States, here's some large companies I would like to see more from in the United States in 2024. And these are in no particular order. Number 1, JP Morgan Chase. It was a solid program 8 years ago or so, and it's still committed to neurodiversity hiring, but it seems like they're limiting their reach. From what I read recently, it's Dallas-Fort Worth area and one of the cities that they're working from. I could be wrong. I hope to hear from them. I think they'll get better. Number 2 is Microsoft. And sorry, but any company that says they're still learning 10 years after their first hiring initiative is not a very strong recommendation. This is one I heard from last year when I talked. I had commented on Microsoft's neurodiversity hiring program, and I asked them, where's the promotion to career development? And they said, literally, we're still learning. Sorry, but I can't recommend you that well for that. So number 3 is IBM, and this is similar to Microsoft. They talk a great game, but I don't hear much in terms of who gets hired and what happens afterwards. Same problem with Microsoft. You've been doing this for a while now. Where's the promotions, career development? Number 4, Goldman Sachs. Their program was like JP Morgan Chase. They were at the top of the list a few years ago. So what happened? I don't know. Number 5 is UBS, and this was in a working relationship with Specialty Starting USA. And if they continue to do so, I'll probably move them into the recommended list for 2025 because I think they've got a lot of potential. The only issue I have is as a New Yorker, and I will confess I did apply for a job through Specialty Starting USA towards the end of 2022, and I probably would have gotten in. I would have had to travel to Connecticut every day. It would have been a pain in the neck, but I would have done it. If they can get it down into New York City, I think it'll help a lot because a lot of neurodivergent people in New York City would like to work for this company. And then finally, Prudential Group Investment Management. So Prudential is also committed to neurodiversity hiring, and while I mentioned them working with an organization on LinkedIn with a neurodiversity hiring program, I haven't heard much since then. And I'm a little bit like, what's going on here, folks? Tell me what we can do. So here are 2 U.S. cities I would like to see more from, in no particular order. Number 1, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They're committed to hiring 500 autistic adults in 2023. The Philadelphia energy company Pico hired some of them, but what about the rest? Also, if you're hiring that many people, how many are hired at managerial level or even supervisory level? The answer is 0. You need to do better. And what makes this one particularly interesting is the person who announced this is the chairman emeritus of the firm I work for. And this man is one of the most highly respected men in Philadelphia. So I don't think he would just blindly make an announcement without having something to back it up. So I think the city of Philadelphia is actually the best city for neurodivergent people right now. A lot of good projects come out of there. I think the city is well known for being sensory friendly. They just became a sensory friendly city. So yes, I think they have a lot of good things to offer. The second one's my hometown, New York City. So yes, my hometown's got a lot of companies that committed to neurodiversity hiring, but why hasn't the city done anything to consolidate everything? Better question. New York City has at least one major university and one college that has programs for autistic students. I can tell you that it's the City University of New York and my alma mater, Hunter College, that have these programs. Hunter College is very well known for this, and I'm calling them out. What are you doing to get these students hired into jobs? Are you helping them out? Stick around, folks. I may have an answer to that later on. So, William, what about your former company, Willis Towers Watson, aka WTW? Okay, let me give you a breakdown. Willis Towers Watson was one of the first companies in the United States to have a neurodiversity hiring program, which started with training starting off-site in November 2013, followed by a pilot project in White Plains, New York in February 2014. I was a part of that project, and I was the only one kept on after it concluded in August. True story. Now, they rode that thing to death. The CEO talked about every possibility. He got a speaking engagement for the United Nations in 2014 on Autism Awareness Day. As a matter of fact, it was the first time I ever heard of the day. Next day, I got contacted by Inc.com to do an interview about my experiences. So that was the first time I got known for being autistic, and this is why I'm known as being autistic today. Anyway, I stayed with WTW for more than 7.5 years and left in April 22. There was a second program in 2015, which was split with Ernst & Young, with the WTW people being employed in Philadelphia. Once again, Philadelphia rises to the top. But at this time, and I'm going to stress this, at this time, I simply cannot recommend WTW to neurodivergent people looking for work in the United States, as I have not seen a neurodiversity hiring initiative since 2015. That CEO retired. Things have changed considerably. I know my own department just got restructured, so I don't know what happened to that, but they went from writing it out from the 2014 program to 2015. They basically buried that, and then 2016, nobody was hearing about it in the United States. The company's reputation, however, regarding neurodivergent people in Brazil, the Philippines, and the United Kingdom is much, much better, and I highly recommend the company to peoples in those countries. I know people who've worked who've been hired through neurodiversity hiring initiatives in those three countries. I'll tell you what, they do a great job, and I don't see why that can't be brought back to the United States. That's just my opinion. This situation can change under the right circumstances, and I might be revisiting whether or not I would recommend this company for neurodivergent people in the near future, as I suspect there'll be some action taken as more large companies create and invest in neurodiversity hiring programs. I'm starting to see discussions of a lot more Fortune 500 companies doing this. I would like to see improvements, and I think WTW can bring it back to where it was, honestly. So here's I think we can improve the neurodivergent talent pool in 2024. Many U.S. colleges and universities now offer support services for autistic and other neurodivergent students at all levels. These same schools almost always have an employment counseling service. The schools can connect with the companies offering neurodiversity hiring programs that have internships and postgraduate employment. Makes sense, right? You go from this way, it's the same way you help your neurotypical students. You get them internships, you get them into postgraduate employment, you help them out with situations, how to do interviews, how to construct a resume. Many U.S. companies, however, have a new and recent graduate program for students graduating from college or have recently graduated. Example given, my former company, WTW, has this. So the schools can connect with the programs at these companies to provide inroads to employment for autistic and neurodivergent graduates. Simple win-win. It's a win-win for all involved, as the schools and companies improve their reputations, and undergraduate students hear about the possibility of connecting with these programs and working for them. Helps their reputation, helps build their talent pool, helps present a new level of talent. And the one thing I want to stress, and this is the big phrase for autistic people, in my opinion: if autism is on a spectrum, then so are our talents. Companies should recognize this, not bury us in different companies or different departments, and let us show what we can do. So recently I wrote what I call an open letter to the corporate world regarding hiring and retaining neurodivergent employees in 2024. And I devised a 4-step method, and here are the reasons for development. Neurodivergent employees are often given a job with no chance at career development, career advancement, or leadership development opportunities. Happened to me, folks. This is why I'm in this program at Indiana Tech. I had to create my own opportunities. Full confession. Companies often consider a neurodivergent person's condition rather than their ability to do the job. Yep, happened to me there too. And finally, neurodivergent employees often feel left out or discriminated against for new and better opportunities. I don't think I need to discuss that one any further. So the benefits to this program are: it improves morale, it benefits the company by showing they value the employee, it costs little to no money to implement other than raises or bonuses, and can be applied to all employees. And this is something I want to stress. This can be done with all employees. It's a simple method. I like it. I think it makes perfect sense. So first, hiring based on talent. So let's consider the person's ability rather than conditions. In other words, let's do a more holistic approach to hiring where people are tested for their skills. They look at what they can do and say, hey, wait a second, we may have something for you that might be suitable. Rather than, you're neurodivergent, here's a job. Second, capitalize on situations where there is a need for talent. Again, this is a situation where you take the holistic approach and you say, hey, listen, you tested well here, that you did well with this, you did well with that. Here's something we're thinking about. We can match you up with this job. Let's make it happen. And then third, thinking outside the box of neurodivergent people only having certain abilities. Sorry, folks, but a lot of companies think that we belong in STEM. Go on LinkedIn and try and say that. I think you'll get laughed at because there are so many talented people who are neurodivergent in so many different fields. And I'm honored to know so many of them. And truth is, I really wish that companies would take a look at this and start rethinking this. I think it's invaluable. Second step, mentoring starts on day one. This is something I borrowed from my own law firm, where senior attorneys mentor the fall associates or newer attorneys to learn how the firm works, how to handle certain situations, and mentor them towards career development and career advancement. So My plan is each new hire is matched with a senior level employee, a director or a hire that can meet with the employee regularly to discuss what is going on with the job, what to look out for, and later on, discuss how to get new assignments and promotions. Pretty much what Stradley Ronan does, I go with it. Second, senior employee can also show new hire the ropes of the company and industry as a whole. I think this is invaluable because this is something, again, what happens with my firm. This is what they do. And we have a great reputation for career mentoring. So third, the reason why you do that is this shows the company values a new hire and is committed to helping develop their future. Of course, the employee says, hey, wait a second, this guy's looking out for me. This firm is looking out for me. They want to see me grow. They want to see me advance. I'm going to stay with this firm rather than look elsewhere to advance. And that's the key point. The employees feel good about working and staying with the organization. I think if you tell somebody, here's how we can help you out, they're going to want to stay. I think a lot of places don't do that, and unfortunately, they lose a lot of talent because of that. And that applies to neurodivergent and neurotypical people alike. So third, there must be a next level. So creating a next level shows that your employees' careers develop and grow. You keep them stagnant. If an employee is sitting there for more than 3 years after they start and they haven't had any opportunity to grow, they're going to want to leave. Or now generally, I can say that generally, but I think it's pretty much a common thing that people will want to leave if that happens. It shows commitment to the employee's future career development and advancement. It means, listen, you work here for a while, we advance your skill set, we move up. It works. That's how it could. That really is the best way to do business, I think. And I think it shows that the company is committed to that person and to each employee. It shows that the company wants to retain the employee and is committed to doing so by offering new opportunities as appropriate. Again, I'm not saying in a month you move from low-level employee to C-suite. I mean, no, that's not going to happen. I recognize it. I accept it. But you say a year or two, you get looked at for possible movement into a junior level role, to a lead, to a senior level role in a couple of years, and then so on and so forth. I think that helps retain the employees, because quite frankly, if a new hire employee stays at the same level for too long, they're likely to leave with a bitter taste in their mouth. Guess what? That happened to me, and it's one of the things I strongly am against. I don't need to see that happen to anybody ever again. So the fourth point or step is career leadership development. So employees must be allowed to grow or they'll leave. Simple as that. It establishes a means of moving into new roles and a potential to advance into leadership. And while leadership development might not be a good idea for the company to sponsor in the current environment, I'm already seeing signs that there are people who want to open up opportunities. Let's say they're programs for women or people of color. Unfortunately, there are people who are trying to knock that down. I think those programs should still exist. I think you need to have something for neurodivergent people. You need something for for neurotypical people. You need something for everybody. You need to modify these programs for women, for people of color, for neurodivergent people, and for neurotypical people, and for whatever way you want to do it. But I don't think a company should sponsor it. I think that companies that sponsor it are probably going to end up in a lawsuit at this point. And this is coming off the results of the United States Supreme Court case again that knocked down affirmative action. It's not going to take much to knock these programs down if they're corporate sponsored. So organizations like mine, Leadership in Neurodiversity, may fill that slack as we're not going to rely on corporate sponsorship. I'm going to run this as an organization which brings in people from different organizations and hopefully helps them out and develop their skill set. I think this is a clear, simple plan. I think this is an idea that I strongly believe in. I think this is something that companies could talk to me about, I think, or nonprofits or state organizations or federal government organizations, whatever. I think this is something that could be implemented anywhere and offered to any employee without any problem whatsoever. So here's my conclusion. So Leadership in Neurodiversity is committed to a very exciting 2024. Although research cannot officially begin until after my classes have been completed, since IRB approval is required before such research can begin, the framework and literature review is taking shape and will be ready to go the day I finish the classwork, which will be in summer of 2025. Second I finish that, boom, we're going right to the qualifying paper, which will form the building blocks for the dissertation. So the second thing is a new website is going to be built in the first half of 2024. The domain will be leadershipinneurodiversity.com and will be available by early July. I really want to aim for March on this instead, because I think I can get this done a little bit earlier. I think the site would be a suitable opening for Neurodiversity Celebration Week in March. That's March 18th through the 24th, I believe, this year. I think it would be a great idea to even if I just have an introduction to the site and a couple of my writings from LinkedIn, I think this is a great thing that we can bring in. So I'm looking forward to building that. So thank you. I'm available for public speaking engagements and collaborative research efforts. I can be contacted through LinkedIn. My link is below. The next video will be out in the third week of January and will be a preview of my presentation to Fordham University students, which will be taking place on January 24th. So I'm going to give about a week before to do a preview to give you folks an idea of what the Fordham University students will be hearing. I don't know if I'm going to do this if I'm going to do the presentation live or I'm going to do it through PowerPoint, but I think I'm looking forward to this. This is a very exciting situation. So once again, thank you, and I will be back in a couple of weeks.